Howdy, Beefalo Bart here, and welcome. Alrighty then. So we're going to pick up where we left off earlier. Just kind of spitballing with the project right now, getting some of the features in that are going to be part of upcoming videos. Just getting them in here now so that whenever I do the, hey, this is what we're going to do with the current progression, and this is where we're going. Today's drink of choice is something a little bit different. Sure, if you read the title on the description there, trying out something new. And I know a lot of you are regulars to the channel, some are new to the channel, but know that I am not a spring chicken. I am currently 51 years old. I am retired. I sit here full time, plus take care of my elderly mother, which I love so dearly. And she has some medical issues where she's wheelchair bound and needs care pretty much 24 hours a day. So I just went ahead and started doing this full time, even though I'm not making anything off of it. So as you guys know, I also have my own share of medical issues, as to be expected whenever you get 51 years old. And I will be 52 this year, by the way. One of the things that has concerned me is family history of prostate cancer, and whether I have it or don't have it, will have it, won't have it, whatever. There's those signs and symptoms that point to the fact that I'm going to end up with it. And I already have issues, and we're not going to delve deep into my prostate. Let's not think about that. So, try to take some steps in order to prevent it from taking a hold. And one of the things that I did was a lot of research, and one of the things that I came up with in that research was CBD. Okay. CBD, a lot of people automatically think, oh, it's, this dark, mysterious thing, and, it's associated with, the seedy drug underworld and so forth. And you guys know I'm anti-drug, anti-alcohol, anti-everything else. I'm anti-everything. I'm just a grumpy old guy. But CBD is part of marijuana. Yes, it is. But it is separate from the THC portion. The THC is the portion that actually gets you high. CBD is no longer regulated and does not give you that high feeling. So, and it is not an illegal thing. It is 100% legal across the board. And you guys know that I love coffee. So I found this company here. And I ordered a sample 4-pack, and yeah, it's not as cheap as, it's $13 for 4 cups. Okay. But it's not just regular coffee. Well, first off, you look at the tasting notes: milk chocolate, black cherry. Alright, what's not to love? And honestly, I have a cup of it right here, right now, that I just finished brewing in my K-Cup and my Keurig coffee maker. But it also contains 20 milligrams of CBD per cup. So there's a lot of benefits to it, and if you're interested, I'll do a separate video on what it is, what it'd be like, and so forth. But I'm going to give it a shot. And there's also going to be a pretty good chance that, I do have a promo code. So if you guys get interested in this, let me know. And in a future video, I will feature this primarily. Oh, welcome there, bud. So I will be featuring this as a single video on the coffee itself, the company, and so forth, and there's a good chance that they may actually become a channel sponsor. So, kind of looking forward to that. So, the coffee itself, I had to let it cool down a little bit before I started the video, so. It's a medium blend. Wow, okay. Right off, I can taste the black cherry. Kind of smooth. Yeah, I always take my coffee with a little bit of cream and sugar, so that kind of throws off the overall flavors a little bit, but that's good. I mean, it's not too light, not too heavy. It's a medium roast. It doesn't sit heavy on the tongue. Only a mild, aftertaste, but good. All right, so where we left off on our videos was we just created a temporary speed boost to get us going faster. I created off screen the coin thing, and you see in the bottom right hand corner it adds coins. And if you fall through the world, you get automatically reset. You walk into a water pit, it slows you down. You can't jump, you can only move through it. Yes, it is a side scroller. Added a checkpoint system, and if you fall through the world, you get set back to the new checkpoint. What I think I want to do with my checkpoint is add in a way for it to actually spawn me here instead of here, because we can't see the player when we spawn here, but we will be able to see the player if we spawn here. So I want to go back into my checkpoint and go into our viewport. We can do this by, I'm going to try to put it off to the Y. I think that's the correct direction. I'm going to add in a scene component, and I'm just going to move it off. Actually, no, I'm not going to do it as a scene component. I'm going to do it as a arrow. Just a visual indicator. Well, it wants to be over on this side, so I'm going to move it out to, let's say, 100. And if I look at my scene, I don't see it. So let's look to see here. We're going to uncheck hidden in game. And I may put something else in here just temporarily, just so I can see where it is. Yeah, I don't see it. So, okay, I didn't like that. Anyway, let's add in something that's definitely going to be visible. You can't mistake that. Okay. So yeah, it is putting it in the wrong direction here. So, and put it back at 0. And neighbors are being noisy again. Alright, so let's try it off on this direction. Yeah, that's better. So I don't actually need it to be visible, and that's the thing is, let's put it at 100, and we don't need it to be a thing, so I'm going to uncheck visible, because we don't even need to see it, and instead of this, we want to get this for our world location, for our checkpoint location. So let's see what that looks like. Yay, there's much rejoicing. Get to the water, get to the checkpoint, and we definitely got to make sure we don't have any collision on it, even though it's not visible. It was still blocking us. So we get through here, and we set our checkpoint, and we fall, and we get to there. I could have used the arrow, and could have stuck with it, but whatever. So let's actually do that, and we know that our Y is going to be 100. Why is it suddenly a bad blueprint? Because it doesn't have that there. Would you please cooperate? Thank you very much. So with the coins, what I did was I set a value to them, and yeah, we want to go with negative 100, and that's it. So you can see on the coin it just says text, but we go into the game, you see that one says 1, and if we look at our counter, it gave us 1. That one over here says 10, and that one gives us 10. We fall through here, our checkpoint's still there. So coins should not reset, and essentially all we're doing is on begin play, we're getting that that text. We're setting the text value to the text render of the coin value, and the coin value itself is set under custom value, coin value, and if we actually go in here, and again these will be under their own separate videos. So we click on it, we have a coin value, and we can set this to whatever we want. So this one was 1. I can change it to 100 now, and then whenever I hit play, not only is it 100, but it shows 100 on both sides of the coin. See, we just got 100, and that one still is 10, so we got 110. They don't respawn. You don't want your coins to respawn anyway. Of course, you don't lose them whenever you fall through the world and that kind of stuff. Checkpoints don't influence them. Alright, so if you guys come up with ideas that you'd like to see in the video itself for individual components and so forth, we got our fallout zone, slow zone, speed booster, coin, checkpoint, that kind of stuff. But I did want to talk about the coffee and the potential sponsorship. Sorry, I've been having some sinus issues today. On this, our map here, it is just a very, very simple, nothing to it map. What are you? Why are you here? I don't recall making you. So we got our checkpoint, we got our mud pit or water pit. You can make it actually whatever you want texture wise. You can make it look like mud, you can make it look like water, oil, what have you. But the whole point is you can set the speed that you can walk through there is adjustable. If you go to the slow zone here, you've got the speed modifier, or the speed at which your character goes. You could turn this up or down. You could make it 2,000. You could make it 2. You could whatever. And the whole point is it slows you down from 600, which is your normal walking speed. Even if you're sprinting, as soon as you hit it, so your sprint's still in effect, but it's supposed to change you down to that. Pick up my coins. Cannot jump while you're in there, so you have to go through it. Gives you the incentive to try to find a way over it or what have you. So once you're in there, there is no jumping out of it. So if you guys come up with anything, let me know, and I'll try to include that in this. We'll continue to make this into, a function map, showing off different things you can do on a side scroller if you want to. Eventually, at some point, I'm going to be looking at doing a mobile game. And yeah, mobile side scrollers may not be the only type of game you can play, but it is a type. And we can come up with other things. Like the coin is a custom mesh that I created. It was just a cylinder that I rescaled. By using a box geometry for the world itself, I'm able to dish out areas like this using subtractive boxes that I can put in and subtractive shapes, so that I can actually create custom areas like a mud pit or the ponds or whatever I want. That was just the same thing. It was one box with a subtractive box added to it. I can make the holes through the world for you falling out of the world. You can take that same one and actually make it to where you can go underneath the world and say if you want to add in part of your level underneath here, or if you want to add in another floor above here that you can jump up to, having a hole in the floor, you can do that. But using BSP geometries, you can actually make your own structure for the level without having to have a whole lot in here. Added the starter content, and really that's about the only thing so far. I may add in some like infinity blade effects or something like that, just so we have a little something else for particle effects. You know, the shapes we have in here, we can use those. We got props like table and chairs and lights and a rock and so forth. In fact, the power up right here is just that right there with material applied to it. I'm not sure what we'd need all the furniture for, but yeah, whatever. You do have sound cues, like for, you know, if something's falling apart, you can play that one. For explosions, like that. And one of the things I thought about was, as for traps or something, you could set up a cannon that shoots the player, or shoots at the player and cause them damage. One of the other things that I wanted to set up was a ragdoll system, so that if you trigger a trap, it kills the player. The player actually will ragdoll instead of doing a conventional death. So I'll do another video specifically for that. Also for line tracing, one of the things that you're going to run into for setting up target dummies and so forth is that the player itself, the typical mesh is set up by default as character mesh. And if you change this to anything else, or if you leave it like this, one of the things you're going to have to do is under your collision presets, you're going to have to create this as custom and trace responses. Change this from ignore to block. So your trace visibility, so if you're using a line trace, it will now intersect with your player, but you'll still be able to ragdoll. Hope that makes sense. But we'll get into that in another video. One of the things we're going to have to do is, whenever we're setting things up, our line trace, since we're on a left, right, up, and down, we're basically two-dimensional. We want a line trace to go either this way or this way. We don't want it to come towards the camera or away from the camera or whatever else. So we only want our line traces to fire this way or this way. So it'll have to do a check to see which way our character is facing. And there's a couple ways of doing that. And we want to only do it if we're facing this way, or only fire the trace if we're doing it that way. And we can interact with things. We'll do things like trigger platforms. And we did a little bit of that in another video where you actually step down on a platform and it actually will, in a multiplayer environment, what happens is you one person has to stand on a platform so that the other person can walk across a bridge, but if the person comes off that platform, the bridge goes away or raises up or whatever. In this case, it just vanishes. So one person has to stand on there, the bridge appears, the other player walks across the bridge, and whenever they get to the other side, it resets to where now the person on the other side can get off of it and walk across. So it was a cooperative method of, you know, imagine a side-scroller that had to be a cooperative map. So you can have a single-player map where everything in it is geared to this, and you can actually complete it without having to worry about somebody else. But if you go into a multiplayer game, it requires a second player at least to be able to complete the map. So you could actually do a 2-player side scroller if you wanted to in multiplayer. So we did that. We tested around a little bit, and there's 2 ways to do it where you have no collision, or a collision with the player. You can't walk through the other player, so one person has to jump over the other person's head if they want to get by. And it has to be in an area where you can get by, because if you're in an area where you can't, well, you just don't have the height to jump across, then you won't be able to. So Discord. If you guys have questions, comments, or whatever, go to Discord. Do make sure you check out the rules. I am very cynical about my rules. I don't have very many. There's a server rules room with pinned messages, and the primary and only pinned message there is do not for any reason use the mention feature at all. Not with my name or anybody else's name. That should be reserved for the owner of the Discord channel, like myself, for announcing, hey guys, I'm going to go live, hey, I got a new video, which I don't do that very often anymore. And do not send me a direct message without asking me in the appropriate channels first. I'm usually doing something whenever I'm sitting here at this computer, and if I'm doing something that has to take my time away to go to a Discord message, read it, respond to it, you guys know I hate notifications. Completely hate notifications. So if I'm sitting here working on something and I look down and I see a 1 or a message notification right here, it annoys me. It really does, and I tend to get a little bit distasteful, because that is in the server rules. Don't send me a DM without asking me first, and don't use a mention with my name on it or anybody's name on it. But just don't use mentions on my server. So simple as that. And when people violate those rules, I tend to get a little bit uptight. All right, so this coffee is actually not bad. Now, it's not just coffee that I'm drinking this for, because I love my coffee, right? So the fact that it does contain CBD, not sure how much it's affecting the flavor, because I do actually taste things, and I do get the hint of chocolate, and it's more of a dark chocolate than a milk chocolate, but I'm also getting a kind of a note of that black cherry. The black cherry is right on top, with the chocolate coming in, sliding in a little bit after the taste there. So to this, I could apply a material on here, but I'm going to wait. Oh, that's going to bug me that it's off by 10. I can actually... That's fine. But it's... little things. OCDs. There, that's better. That's prettier. I not much. I don't really care for side scrollers, but there's going to be a lot of these features that I'm putting in here that can be applied towards other things. Teleport systems, to maybe even destructible meshes, firing off a grenade or throwing a rock or something of that nature. Let me know what you want to see, and I'll make it happen. To the best of my ability, that is. Do we need something else here? Let's put in... a launch character. They're stupid simple, but I love them. I don't know why, but I do. We're going to go in here to my gadget blueprint folder. I'm going to create a new blueprint. Actor launch pad. And all I'm going to do is add in a cube. Change this to 0.1. I'm going to add in a box collision, which this needs to be 1.5 by 1.5 by 0.5 seems good enough. Raise that up, go in here, delete these, right click on that, on the component begin overlap. We're only concerned about our player, so cast to our player, and launch character, and in this case we're going to do it by 1,000 here. Place that in, make sure it's on 0 here, and we'll just move it forward a little bit. So the launch character, essentially what it does is, well, it launches the character. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. So when we step on it, it throws us up in the air. That's all it does. So we can use this. We don't have to make the pad visible. We step on it, it'll be something that can throw us up to the next location. We could have a spring with an animation to it, so that you have it to where it looks like a spring is throwing us up. Whatever you want there. That's a nice little thing. One of the other things I like doing is suspending things on cable actors to where you have like the rope bridge effect, or still looking at the idea of how to accomplish a vine where you can grab a hold of a vine and climb up and down or swing across. I think it would be the best one to do for that. But the launch pad is, you could change the direction, but we only really want to launch a player straight up. That will allow us to actually control our character in the air and go left or right as we need to. And again, we can hide the actual cube portion of it. We don't need to see it. We could actually just tell it to, we can leave it off completely, or we can actually put this as hidden in game, and even though you see it in the editor, you won't see it actually in the gameplay. But I'm going to leave it visible so I can see it and I know what I'm looking at. We've created the slow zone to go along with actual events in the player character. We got our coins. We could do a testing thing for pain. We don't have death in here yet, but we'll do that as a ragdoll. So we'll do pain pad, and essentially it's going to be the same thing as our launch pad. It's going to do exactly the same thing. 1.5 by 1.5 by 0.5, and except we're not going to launch the character, we're going to apply damage. And like I said, all this stuff that's going to be that's in this video is going to be a separate video by itself. So don't worry if you're missing something, or I'm going too fast, or I'm going too slow, or what have you. They will be their own specific video. And we're going to apply damage. Damaged actors. This is the only one we got. Or if we didn't want to do it that way, we could actually plug that directly in here. Because we only want it to trigger if the player steps on it, and the damaged actor will only be the person that's actually standing on it. Be the better way of doing it. And we only want to do, well, we can actually do it this way. Damage, and this category will be custom value, and we need this to be a float, and our damage is going to be 25. And then put this here, plug it in. So now when we place this into the map, let's make sure we have that on 0, we can actually set the expose it. We can actually set the value of how much damage we want to do with this pad. So here's our custom value of 25. So now we go in here, playing, and rejoicing, oh no, we're walking through water, it slows us down. Come through our checkpoint, yay, we got a checkpoint. Hey, we got a launch pad, cool. Oh, we landed on the Painpad, and we wanted to actually apply damage. Why are you not applying damage? Or are you applying damage? Apply damage. And I'm going to just speed up time here, and I'm going to go ahead and put another one here. Alright, so we're not retrieving our value in our HUD correctly. Graph, health bar, getting our health, dividing it by that. One minor thing. We actually need to tell our player to be able to take damage. So we could do this. Event any damage. We have to tell our player to be able to take damage, right? Get our stats. We're going to need to get our health, and we need to set our health, and we need to subtract the damage from our health and set that to our current value. So that will update our health. And then we'll apply that to our death and actually do a ragdoll later on. So there we go. Every time we hit that pad, it's going to cause damage. And for now, it's just going to keep giving us less and less and less because we haven't built in a death function yet. So we can actually go ahead and save everything. So we do that. I really want to do the ragdoll thing and a complete video by itself. So I don't want to give any spoilers because I don't want to be looking at, oh, well, you did it in this video, and this is not the focus of this video. This video is just me talking about things. I'm coming up with ideas for new content for future videos. Spitballing videos are, when you see spitball in the title of a stream, that means come on in, ask questions. That's spitballing is making things up as I go along, and if you have a question, then I'll just kind of throw it into this project and try to work it out. Kind of help you as a live thing. Because here in just a few minutes I'm going to get off this video. I'm going to close Unreal Engine 4 for the day, and I'm going to probably go play Division 2. I've already had a nap today. So, the CBD coffee, I like it. It's going to have some other benefits besides just being a cup of coffee. It's supposed to help with relaxation. The active ingredient of CBD itself is actually said to target some of the cancer cells from prostate cancer. It helps with a lot of other things. In fact, it actually can help with high blood pressure too. It actually can lower your blood pressure. Thank you, bud. A long time no see. So hopefully the CBD portion of this coffee, I know it's weird. You're adding CBD, which is to help you relax and calm down, and help with some health issues and so forth. But coffee is usually looked at with caffeine being a stimulant. Interesting. So you really, really relaxed jackrabbit. I'm hoping it'll help me focus a little bit more too, and help with some of the overall aches and pains of being me. This I can see as being a good one-a-day cup of coffee. I generally drink about 2 to 3 cups of coffee a day. It overall, to go along with what everything is supposed to do with CBD, there's also that placebo effect. And when I quit drinking years ago, yeah, I'll have a drink every so often now. But I'm talking about I used to drink really, really heavy. But to get myself to quit drinking, I convinced myself, the placebo effect is a good thing, right? I convinced myself that it actually made me sick to even smell alcohol. Like if someone's been drinking, if I smell them, it's like, ugh, oh my God, it makes me nauseous and that kind of stuff. And it actually started that. I got to the point where I couldn't go to a bar. I hated working bars as a bouncer because of all the drunks. I know, it's kind of a bad side effect. You work at a bar, you're going to deal with drunks, right? Um, so I had to quit working as a bouncer because the smell of alcohol just turned my stomach. All those drunks and that kind of stuff. I didn't mind the fighting. I really enjoyed the fighting part. Create new G.I. Joe characters. Yeah, share that with me in Discord later. Um, yeah, but it was bad as I enjoyed the fighting part too. And when you enjoy fighting, it's time to get a new occupation. When you're fighting for an occupation, not just going out and being a butthole and fighting. I'm talking about just in general. Um, and hey, one side effect of this, the CBD, is it might make me less grumpy all the frickin' time. If it doesn't, then y'all just shut up, leave me alone, then, right? Let's close all these things down. I forgot what I was working on. So yeah, I will come back to doing the damn, with the speed boost on. I walked right over the Deathtrap. Because I want to do things like with this right here, when you fall down, instead of it just being right there. So we've got the fallout pit thing right here, right directly underneath it. But let's move it down, and we don't want to block it completely. So if we put any walls up, let's go with BSP geometry. Put a box here. We've only got this 200 by 200 by 200, but let's change the X to 100. It doesn't really matter on the X. But let's change the Z height to 1,000. And I'm going to move this over to here, and then I'm going to move it down. Pardon the seesaw flying back and forth. I know that's probably sickening to watch. But I think this goes at 700, should be right. So now, if we actually do fall in that hole, and I'll put sidewalls on there as well. So we come over here, and we fall in this one. It just respawns us there. But if we fall down here, we actually fall a little bit farther. So what I want to do is set it to where when we do fall, instead of having this, we actually land here, and we could put spikes there. So when you fall down there, you actually hit it, and it actually, as you fall through the plane, at a certain point of falling down, we trigger your player to go into ragdoll mode. And then when you get triggered into that, your body just hits the spikes, and you're bleh, all laid out on top of it, and add some blood and gore maybe in there. But then set a timer, and poof, at that point you do your respawn system. So this, yay, we got a checkpoint. Fall through, we can actually see ourselves falling through. We want our player to see hitting the ground and fall over dead. So we launch the player right directly into the Painpad. So you can put sidewalls on there. You don't have to put them perfectly at a 90-degree angles. You can kind of spread them out a little bit so it looks more roomy and spacious. You're falling to your death, right? As you fall through the pit, you fall down to there, and yeah, go from that. Adding platforms. I'm actually going to take away this Painpad because we already have another one in the map. But when you're putting in new floors and platforms and so forth, you can match them up to this. You can make them look like stuff. Like you could add asset packs like Cinti asset packs with like, the pirates where you got the dock. You're jumping from dock to dock or across boats or what have you. You're adding in other platforms. Again, I'm using BSP geometries. Hell, you could do this in a Minecraft theme if you wanted, because you can use these 100 by 100 blocks. I know this is 200 by 200, but you put your BSP geometries on there, and I've got the materials that I've already created for a Minecraft theme to where it looks like Minecraft blocks. And I made the blocks. They're not straight copies from Minecraft. They look like it, but, they're my materials that I made. Could do that. I'd also recommend changing the lighting. The sun direction is not working well with the shadows and the way things look here. But the thing is, when you're working with these, remember the rule of thumb with BSP geometries: do not use scale object. Use the brush transform for this. If I want to change the thickness of it, I can do it to 50, or hey, that doesn't look good, so let's try it at 20. Okay, that's fine, but I want it longer. Okay, so I change the Y value to 600. Okay, that's better, but do we want it to be that, or do we want to make it a whole floor? And our X value is going to be 1000 to match that. And then we could put supports in and make it look right and that kind of stuff. If you're going to do a side scroller, oh, come on, get out of the water pit. Try to jump over it. Do you need a spring pad to get the player up there? Do you want the player to be able to jump up there? If you want the player to be able to jump manually, then you have to think about the overall height. Overall height being brush 10. If we put it at, let's say 400. You know what? When you're testing things, instead of having to walk all the way across back and forth, you can actually right click and play from here. See, it's too high for your player to get up there normally, so you can do that to make it to where they have to use a jump pad. And in this case, the jump pad is not high enough. So if we want to be able to edit this inside the game, once we have it placed into the map, we're only changing the Z coordinate here. And what I would probably end up doing is make vector. We're only changing the Z. So we get in here and launch velocity. We only want the Z. So this is a float. So make a variable called jump height. Changes to custom value and make it a float. Plug that in here. And since we're only changing this number and we need to expose that, then we're going to leave it default at 2000. We can manually change that now in our scene by changing this number. So we get in here, jump. Yay, it's a little bit too much. So since it is a little bit too much, we can now click on it and 1500. And play from here. Just a little bit too much. It's good, but let's take it down to 1350. better. So you have to think about that, of how high, if you want the player to be able to make it manually, or require them to actually use the pad. Um, you could do things like create it so that the jump pad itself is not visible until you actually perform a certain event. Okay, you must complete this checkpoint before you can do this, or you need to throw a rock and hit a lever, or break something, or whatever. You can come up with different ways of doing that, um, so that the player can actually trigger the event. Oh no, the mud pit. Checkpoint, death pit. Jump over here, jump back down. You can add in ladders or stairs, or if you're going to add stairs in, there's one thing you have to remember, is that the pivot point on BSP stairs is not in the center. It's offset. So to make it work correctly, you need to be offset by -100 so that it stays in line with the rest of it. If you want to use stairs as a method of blocking your player from jumping back over, 15 is the height of the stairs that you need to utilize in order to prevent your player from jumping backwards over the stairs. So you can walk up the stairs, go over, but if I want to go back, you just can't quite make it. And you don't want it to where, oh, it's obvious that I can't make it. You want to kind of make it look like you can almost make it. And yeah, although it's wasting your player's time, why can't I make that? It's to annoy your players. That sounds terrible. You want to annoy your players to make them think that they actually can come over here and jump back up, but they can't. But then when you have things like this, and they get used to the fact that, oh, well, once I jump down here, I'm stuck. Well, why not be able to put things in like a box? And if you jump over the box, you come back over here, and you can, say, push the box and get the box closer, and then you can jump on the box and then jump over. You find ways, if you need your player to get back over there, you can force them to actually become creative and actually getting things that they can actually pick up. You can create a pickup animation system, get a wheelbarrow, what have you. Jump over the wheelbarrow. Okay, now I can push the wheelbarrow by running into it. It grabs it, and I can push it, press the F key, and it lets go. Now I can jump on the wheelbarrow and then jump over the stairs. Create that puzzle for your players to be able to interact with the environment, so that it's more than just, okay, I'm going this way. I have to jump over this now. I have to jump over that now. And then we can also add in enemies where you can actually pick up a weapon. And, okay, now I need a gun. I pick up this gun. Now I can only shoot when I'm facing this direction or this direction. I can shoot while I'm jumping. As long as I am facing this direction or this direction, I can shoot my gun. You don't want your players shooting while they're this direction. So, think of how you would want to, if you're going to play a side scroller. I mean, like I said, I'm not much of a fan of side scrollers, but I like the fact that it's a 3D environment instead of just paper 2D. It just reminds me too much of the old days of gaming. So by having it this way, it's a 3D environment you can interact with, creating that interaction of things. Like if I step on this platform, it shoots a cannon. The cannon shoots at me. Oh crap, here comes a cannonball, I gotta jump. Or if you think of the old school Mario days, where you know that there's going to be a cannonball going across the screen at a certain point, oh, I can jump over it, or I can jump on top of it and ride it across. You can make moving platforms. You can do so many different things with side scrollers that can be interesting. I do like the idea of creating a multiplayer side scroller where you've got a friend going with you, but here's the thing is, if you're going to have weapons, are you shooting? Are you going to shoot your friend in the back whenever you shoot this direction? Is he going to shoot you in the back? All right, get ready to wrap this up because I got other things I want to go do. I love each and every one of you, some more than others. With the Share the Love campaign, again, you guys get with Adlane in my Discord channel. He's not able to get on all the time. What we're trying to do for him, since he's been in the community for a while, and he's a good guy, very intelligent, just lacks fund. To the funding to be able to finish building his new computer. His last computer completely crapped out, and it was a laptop. And I always joke around and call him Tater Farmer, and it's because his old laptop was a bit of a potato, and just out of the sheer love of it, I pick on him and call him Tater. He loves it. So what we're trying to do is come up with some. He needs some DDR3. It's not going to be a new, greatest, latest, state-of-the-art computer. We're just trying to get him back up and running again. And he needs, I would say, at least 16 gigabytes of DDR3. Relatively inexpensive, but a lot of people have DDR3 laying around that they're no longer using. Or if they're old and grumpy or still using. But yeah, he needs some DDR3 RAM, preferably, like I said, around 16 gigabytes. At least, and he's looking for he's looking for an Intel CPU. I'm an AMD guy, so he's looking for a CPU and some DDR3 RAM. So if you guys got either one of those two just laying about that you don't need anymore, it's just taking up space. Oh, I'll use it one day. No, you won't. Use it for this. Help him out. Share the love, and that's all part of the Share the Love program we're working on. As soon as we can get him up and running and back online again, then I'll look for somebody else that we can help, and we'll do the Share the Love thing for as long as we can. Pick somebody, help them out, and go from there. And you guys are always welcome to help me out. Like I said, I do this full time, and I'm not making a dime off of it. I get tips and donations every so often, and I love them. That's what helps pay for assets and games for me to play and review and test and so forth. You guys check out the coffee. I've already closed the browser up. So actually do this. I will actually have the link available in Discord, but in future videos we'll actually have, because more than likely it looks like the good people over here at this company. Where is my link? I have it pinned on my bar, and I don't see it. Okay. It's Strava. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it. Strava Coffee, Strava, craftcoffee.com. I will have this available in Discord, and soon we'll have links in the video description for all my future videos. I'm going to put this in general UE4, but you guys check it out. That is the coffee that I'm drinking right now. I picked up the 4-pack, paid for out of my own pocket, actually out of my house fund. So yeah, you guys don't be a stranger. Get with me on Discord, and if you guys are into playing the Division 2, give me a shout. That's what I'm going to be doing later this afternoon. But yeah, check out this coffee. It's good tasting coffee. I'm drinking a cup right now. And it's getting cold, so I want to finish it up. Actually, oddly, I don't like iced coffee and cold coffee. A lot of times, I'm too busy running my mouth with you guys to actually drink my coffee while it's hot. And it usually ends up getting cold anyway, like it is right now. And taking a sip of it just a second ago, I'm drinking more right now. I think I like it cold better. Well, I actually may break out the blender and crush some ice. Pour some of this over some ice and yeah, make then again also just freeze a cup of coffee that I've already got a little bit of sugar and creamer in, and go from there. But yeah, I might actually try this over some ice. Make some iced coffee. I'd never do that. But drinking this cold now as opposed to when it was hot, it tasted good. But, odd. I like it cold. I like it like I like my women. Cold and dark. Oh, no, wrong. Sorry. Um, but yeah, these guys are probably going to be a sponsor. So you guys show them some love, show me some love by showing them some love, and uh, pick up a pack. I mean, get the 4-pack, test it out, see if you like it. It's not going to be everybody's cup of coffee or tea. I got the 4-pack. I was going to buy a 12-pack and was talking with them there. I won't mention the young lady's name, but it's awesome because it's close to my name. But yeah, she's been really great. Nice people. Even through this coronavirus crap, the shipping time was really good. Um, but knowing that I had some new coffee to taste test coming up, every second that I had to wait was torture. And it's like, ooh, my coffee's going to be here Monday. And I was getting jittery and excited. And yeah, I haven't been let down. I'm probably going to make another cup here later. But I think the next time I make a cup of this, I'm actually going to let it sit and I'm going to pour it over some ice and actually make a nice coffee out of it. Because even though it was good, hot and fresh right out of the Keurig, I like it cold. Let's show them some love. This stuff is a little bit more expensive than regular coffee, but it's not just regular coffee. It is infused with CBD, which is 100% legal. It is not some weird, like, oh, you're going to get hydrated. No, you're not. I'm going to fail a drug test. No, you're not. CBD is separate from THC. THC portion of hemp and marijuana is the part that gets you high. This does not contain that. This is broad spectrum, no THC. That's the key factor right there. THC is the part that gets you high and will cause you to fail a drug screen, not hemp in general, and not CBD. Okay. Again, tasting notes: milk chocolate and black cherry. The funny part is you first taste that black cherry when you first sip it, and then afterwards you get that milk chocolate, more of a dark chocolate aftertone. Yeah, unbelievably delicious. I believe you. Now I do. So I'm going to be posting a really good review on their website for this. But you guys check it out. It's $13 for a 4-pack. Do the math. It's a lot more expensive, but then again, how much you paying for that star place that I won't ever go to, coffee place, or your foofy coffees from there that they had to make up names for, the size of their cups. Yeah, I'm the same way that, I get in here and do my streams and I spend an hour on these live streams and it's like coffee is nice and hot when I first sit down. All right, howdy, Beef Lobart here. Let's get started. Blah 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 blah. By the end of the video, I see that 2/3 of my cup is still full. I'm like, oh, now my coffee's cold. And I don't reheat coffee. I'm sorry. Once it's gone, it's gone. Once it's cold, it's cold. I don't remember. The shipping wasn't that much either. Well, I'll add to cart, even though I've already ordered this right here. I will be getting more. So we'll add to cart. Add to cart. There we go. excluding tax and shipping. I'm going to push this off screen, but I will put it back on screen once I get in there. Just want to make sure that it doesn't actually show my credit card information or anything else. Yep, and it does right there. It was not that much. Yeah, I'm not going to put it in there because I can actually go back and review my order. Let me pull up my order review. I think it was only about $4 or something like that for shipping. It wasn't really much. Shipment there. And I don't have the credit cards. I think it was like $4 for shipping. It wasn't that much. But you guys definitely check it out. I will find out and let you guys know on what the shipping was, but I think it was only like $4 for shipping because it's coming from Colorado. But I don't want to tell you something and then be wrong. I'm not like some people and just blatantly, remove that from the cart because I already have some. But you go in there and they got the K-cups and they have regular coffee. If you want, like the medium roast or the decaf, dark roast. Not sure if they have a light roast or not, but I always drink a medium roast anyway, so that's why I order the medium roast. But you can get it in, I believe they offer beans, grounds, and I know they have the K-cups, and I haven't looked, they have the Nespresso pods. I want to do a whole separate video just on this company because I like them. I like the people that I've talked to so far. I just noticed that I got emails from them. But in the K-cups, you've got the milligram level per cup. This is going to be 10 milligrams per cup, 4 milligrams, 4 milligrams. This is the one that I've got right here is 20 milligrams. So that's what I started off with, and pretty good. I like a dark roast every now and then, so I'm probably going to get a few more different varieties of it because I really just like it. And of course, I had to pick the most expensive one, pretty much $13 versus $10 for. But it's because of the CBD content that's added to it and what it actually is going to help do for me. I'm hoping it'll help with my pain levels as long as as well as with prostate issues, with my lack of focus. I'm going to think positive, but I'm not going to overthink, and I'm not going to say, oh, this is a miracle cure. I don't want the placebo effect to take into account, because if you think, oh, if I eat one M&M a day by placing it under my tongue and letting it dissolve slowly, then I'm going to get taller. Yeah, well, you can think that all you want to, but or not taller, but if I'll lose weight if I put one M&M under my tongue every day in the morning and let it dissolve, I will lose weight. Well, subconsciously your brain's going to be saying, I'm going to lose weight. You're not thinking about the frickin' M&M anymore. The M&M is a magical cure, and it's going to cause you to lose weight because you're doing it this certain way, and it's the new current fad. Well, there's actually some good scientific proof of what this stuff actually does. So I don't want the placebo effect to take into account of any possible workings. Yes, it helps. No, it doesn't help. But here again soon, I'm going to try again to quit smoking. I keep saying that, and I've got lozenges, patches, and all kind of other stuff. So I'm going to need something that's going to help keep my sanity. And you guys know I don't have any health care because, I'm poor and I can't afford it. So I get screwed over by the government. We know that you can't afford health care, so you're going to have to pay us $300 because you're poor. Huh? I don't get that. Thanks, Obama. But yeah, I don't do the whole political thing. I don't get into the conspiracy theories. Well, I do, but I don't. Um, I'm more of the get off my lawn kind of grumpy than the sky is falling grumpy. Actually, I've been smoking Marlboro Black label with the red stripe. I don't smoke menthols. Menthols are actually worse than regular cigarettes. Yes, they're all bad for you. Menthol cigarettes, actually, the menthol portion of it can actually contain extra fibers, which, yeah, whatever. But yeah, just Marlboro Black, Red Stripe is what I've been smoking since they came about. Prior to that, there were Marlboro Mediums, hence my World of Tanks and World of Warships and so forth account being Medium Man. Has nothing to do with medium tanks. It's because I was pissed off that I got my account suspended on World of Tanks for some butthole parking their tank in front of mine whenever I went to fire, and I went blue, blah, 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 whatever. Anyway, so while I was PO'd, I made another account, and I needed a name for the account, and everything I tried was taken, because, my Beefalo Bard account was still there, but I don't ever really use it. So I needed that account name, like, look down and see the pack of cigarettes sitting there, Marlboro Medium 100, so I put Marlboro Man, of course, taken. Medium, and I was smoking Medium 100s, so Medium Man became my name on the Wargaming. And that one just stuck. I just ran with that name. So that's why, if you are looking at my World of Warships or World of Tanks or World of Warplanes account, and you don't see Beefalo Bart having very much at all, that's why, because I don't play that account that much. It's primarily playing Medium Man, and yeah. But before that was just the Reds. Yeah, I can't do lights. Marlboro Lights, I found that whenever I switched to lights, I was smoking more to get the nicotine. I had to smoke two cigarettes to get the same feeling of nicotine after, as opposed to one regular cigarette, and that's worse than smoking one cigarette as you're smoking two. Um, Funny story, and since I'm also out of cigarettes, I need to go to the store. So I don't smoke near my computer in the house at all, and I don't smoke near my computer. I have a monitor that died for the third time. I just finally let it die. But when I was still with my now ex-wife, she needed another monitor, and I wasn't using that monitor. I'd already switched over to a 1080p panel, and I wasn't using the old monitor anymore. It worked, so she needed it, and she's like, "Why is the color so yellow?" I'm like, "I don't know, baby. I'm not sure." It's because that one was in my RV, that computer, and that monitor was in my RV, and I smoked in the RV. It was my RV. It wasn't a family deal. It was my thing. I got you. I'm with you. And I'll have to come up with a way that works for me. So, yeah, I smoked heavily while I was in there, and it was terrible. I mean, the whole freaking RV probably had a yellow film an inch thick on here because of all the damn nicotine. And it's a horrible habit. If you don't smoke, don't start. But I try to talk anybody out of it as much as possible. But yeah, so I smoked so much next to that computer, playing World of Tanks and playing all these other games, and steady smoking, and well, all that yellow tar and nicotine and everything else was getting into the inner workings of my computer and my monitor. And you clean the screen on that monitor all day long, and it wouldn't get the yellow off because the yellow was actually in the layers of the monitor panel itself. So it had a permanent yellow haze to the monitor from all that junk and tar and stuff from the cigarettes in it. It's horrible. Think of how my lungs must look right now. So, yeah. I started smoking in middle school because I wanted to be one of the cool kids. And I was also in band in high school. I used to run. I was actually two quick stories that I was going to get into, and then I'm going to get out of here. One of them was we were in Italy doing our cold weather training, and we came back to one of the bases because we had to do something, whatever. And that particular morning, they're like, you guys just go do whatever for PT. Go play football or whatever you want to do. Just go do PT. Just do whatever you want to do it. Your exercise and that kind of stuff. Yeah, I started like 14, 12 to 14. Just around it all the time. So yeah, I decided, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to go for a run. And I started running. I ended up doing probably about 6 miles. And about 2.5 miles into my run, I was like, I really want a cigarette. So I stopped, and I had my cigarettes were on me. Back then we had these little plastic soap dishes that you could pull apart. We would keep our cigarettes in these plastic soap things so that they would stay dry while we're out in the field. And I stopped and pulled a cigarette out and lit it up and took a few drags and whatever. And I started running again. So I kept running, but I was smoking and running at the same time. This was like a 1 mile track, and it was a nice laid out track area for people to run on, not like a track at a gymnasium or anything like that. But so I'm out there running, doing a, and I just happened to be going in the opposite direction as one of my lieutenants. And of course, every time you see an officer that you recognize as being an officer, you have to, if you're running or you're whatever, you can actually just stop, salute, and then carry on. So out of respect, I'd stop, put my cigarette down, and I'd salute. He'd return the salute, and I'd reach back down and grab my cigarette, take a puff, and off running I went. And he's like, soldier, come back here. I'm like, okay. So I turn around and come back, put my cigarette down, saluted again. And he's like, whatever, I don't care about the salute crap. Are you running and smoking at the same time? Yes, sir. I wanted to smoke, but I just really didn't want to stop running. I was enjoying myself. So I just figured what the hell, I'd smoke while I was running. He just could not get it in his head of why would you smoke and run at the same time. And it was hilarious. But so yeah, nothing to do with each other, but while in Italy, we were doing our cold weather training, and when we were in the main portion of it, we had over 6 foot of snow on the ground. I mean, it was cold. It was horrible. I loved it. Every minute of it, I loved it. Even though it was all that snow on the ground and everything else. And they decided that, hey, let's, while we're in Italy, go to Venice. So we left 6 foot of snow in cold ass weather, loaded up on buses, hauled ass down, and went to Venice for the day. Well, we're in shorts and t-shirts in Venice. We went from 6 foot of snow on the ground, wearing Arctic mittens and cold weather boots, and on the Arctic, the parkas and everything else, to shorts and t-shirts. Okay, this was lovely. Let's go back. So we went back to the snow again. Like, screw it. Let's go skiing. Here's some lift passes. You guys go have fun. Because we still had like a week before our plane was available for us to carry us back. So we'd go back. We'd go skiing for a day or two. And you had free lift passes and civilian ski gear. It was freaking awesome. Hey, let's go to Verona. So we all packed up on a bus, head down to Verona for the day, checking out museums and churches and that kind of stuff. All right, back to the snow. So we went back, we spent the day in shorts and t-shirts, and then back up to the snow again. And that cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, my body just said, you know what, I give up. And I ended up with pneumonia. Well, we still had 2 days left before we were going to leave, and that evening, I'm sitting on my cot. Down where we were staying was in an abandoned missile silo base. So there was just like a helicopter hangar, and we had cots set up, like little cot things set up all over the hangar. And I'm sitting there on my cot, just hacking up blood, just Horrible. And my company commander was like 10 feet away where his cot was. And he's like, "You okay?" I'm like, "I'll be okay." And you can see the tissue with all the blood in it from coughing up blood. He's like, "Yeah, I'm going to go get you a medic." So the captain himself gets up, goes and gets a medic and comes back. And the medic's like, "Yeah, dude, you got pneumonia. You're gonna you're gonna sit out for the next couple days and wait till we get back. You should be okay until then, but you're grounded." So the next 2 days, while we're waiting to go, we go back out to the ski lodge, and I'm being forced to stay at the ski lodge. I can't go out and go skiing like everybody else. Well, I misjudged the amount of cigarettes that I needed for that trip. Like I needed cigarettes while I have pneumonia, um, and I had money. It's not like I was poor or anything, but I just was out of cigarettes, and I just didn't have a whole lot of lira. Back before there was such thing as the euro, and I didn't have much lira in my pocket, and the only lira that I had was like, I forget how much, but it wasn't enough to buy a pack of normal name brand cigarettes like Marlboro or something like that. So there was this brand called MS, Mild Cigaretten, but it was spelled with cigarette was spelled with an S over there. And that's all I could afford to buy with the last few lira that I had to my name after I ate lunch. And I was like, "What can I get with this?" And the guy's like, "Here," hands me a pack of cigarettes. I'm like, "Okay." It was like smoking air. You take a drag from it. It was like Marlboro ultra, 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 ultra lights. I mean, you take a drag off of it, and you have to, and it's like, is the damn thing even lit? you know? So yeah, that was my Italy stories for that. I ended up in the hospital for 2.5 weeks for pneumonia, and I got slightly in trouble pretty much every day because they wouldn't let me have my cigarettes in my room. You could actually, here's how long ago this was. You could still smoke in the hospital, but you had to go to the end of the hallway to the smoking room. There were smoking rooms in a hospital. So I would go down to the smoking room and I would bum cigarettes from people down there because every time I would get someone to bring me a pack of cigarettes to the hospital, the nurses would take them from me. So, "You don't need these. You got pneumonia." I'm like, "Leave my cigarettes alone. I kill you." So I'm down there. I would drag my IV poles down the hallway. I had 2 IV poles because I had 3 different IV bags. So I'm dragging 2 IV poles down the hallway to get to the smoking room. Where would you give somebody that's carrying 2 IV poles a cigarette? Yeah, but whenever nobody was down there, I would actually, I was crackhead central man back then, and I would have dug through the friggin' ashtray to see if there was anything left on one that I could smoke. It was that bad. And my best bud shows up to the hospital to pick me up whenever I finally got released. It was him and his girlfriend, and he brought my girlfriend, and he was driving my car. So he came to pick me up from the hospital, and my dude gave me a cigarette. "You just got out of the hospital for bronchial pneumonia. Do you think maybe you should quit?" Dude, I will snap your neck if you don't give me a cigarette right now. You know I can do it. He's like, "Fine." But yeah, that should have been an indication back then that I really should have quit back then. But, whatever. Alright, y'all got an extra 20 minutes out of me. Buy some Strava Coffee. Stuff's good. It's good hot, but I really like it cold. So, the next cup I make, I'm going to try it as an iced coffee. It's cold now, but I only got like 2 sips left. So I've got some emails to attend to. As you can see, bottom of the screen, there's a notification, and it's bugging me. I know who it's from, and he's cool. He's allowed to. One of the few. So, I may actually stream doing some Division 2 tonight, just because I want to. We already had the the video come out for today. These two streams were just kind of whatevers. And yes, happy Star Wars Day to everybody. May the 4th be with you. Yeah, I'm a nerd. Deal with it. Back in the day, calling somebody a nerd was a bad thing. Now you call somebody a nerd and they say thank you. Gotta love the times. I'm a closet nerd. So, love you guys. Buy some of this coffee. It's awesome stuff. I'll do another separate video just on this stuff, and there's going to be a lot more videos coming up of the content and stuff that I've been playing with in here. A lot more to come. And y'all keep in touch on Discord. Said I may be streaming later some Division 2, just kind of goofing off. But we'll see you then.